right, good morning, everyone. So I'm here with the rest of Team Name. We have Sergio, Tyler, Miko, and Emilcia. Okay, so today we are going to talk about how the young population has become extremely dependent on technology. So our purpose today is not to spark new relationships, it's instead to encourage interaction with us, become one. Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to speak about, a lot of things, but most importantly, we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both social networks and cell phones, how this whole problem is linked to business society, and what real people actually had to say about their communication habits. So we're going to start with Tyler. How do phones draw from our desire for physical interaction, do you think?
They draw from it because you're just so into the phone, you just don't want to go out and do stuff. You don't want to physically go out and do stuff. You want to dating, making friends, everything.
Right.
I mean, you can do it to the phone, but you're not physically going to go there and hang out with them. They're like social loafing almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so much work too.
And
honestly, we're so lazy.
Yeah, they can become in their own mini control room, all just into themselves and just don't want to go out and physically do stuff.
Right.
Which is essential for the human being to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for your input. So I understand that you did some more research together with Team Name. So can you give us a summary about what you found out?
Okay. Well, the research that I conducted was on the different forms of communication that we use, whether it be texting, voice chatting over the phone, video chatting like Skype and FaceTime, and then some good old-fashioned meeting and speaking in person, face-to-face. The results that we found weren't exactly surprising, as you may well have guessed. Texting is the least intimate form of communication. With simple textual communication, you don't get to hear, see, smell, touch, or even taste the other person, even when you're using emojis.
Taste the other person? What?
The next least intimate was calling and voice messaging. At least with calling, you get an idea of how the person really feels. You grasp what they are trying to iterate. When voice is involved, you can pick up on cues from people, like fluctuations in pitch and speed, that we attribute to things like excitement, regret, and annoyance, you can't really pick up in a text.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprisingly, the next most intimate form of communication is the video call. With video calls, you get the same benefit as the voice call, but you see the person too. So facial expressions and body language account for half of communication. And so it isn't a stretch to understand why communicating with people in person is preferred. But regardless of how intimate the form of communication is, it is always easier to call or text someone depending on the length of message. And that's where Apple has gotten us. They have made it so much easier for us to communicate with each other that we choose to use the easier method of communication rather than going out of our way. And this has led to less intimate conversations among people. But research shows that as our digital native generation grows more technologically advanced, our physical interaction skills lack development.
Right. So in addition, I know another article stated how important it is for young adults to have these soft skills, like to have these interpersonal skills. So it's relevant to us in the fact that, when we go into an interview, we have this time limit, right? We have to go rehearse and stuff, and we have to know what we're going to say. We don't have time to think about, the perfect thing to say, right? And we definitely can't delete anything we say, so we just have to work with it. So what do actual people have to say about this problem, about this antisocial behavior? I know you surveyed some people.
Yes.
Can you summarize the results that you found?
Well, we asked primarily 5 questions in the survey, and we first said, do you own a cell phone? And about almost everybody said they own a cell phone. Some key stats is that in different age groups, the older you got, the more likely you are to own a cell phone. The second question we had was, how often do you use your phone? And about 90% of them said that they use it all the time. For social media and regular cell phone activities.
Okay, and so what are the advantages and disadvantages of social networking?
Yeah, social networking is the popular online trend of the last few years. Not only do social media sites provide a way to keep in touch with friends and family, but they can also offer opportunity for professional online networking. Social networking could be advantageous for your career, but they also have the side effect in the disadvantage. For example, is the lack emotional connection, decreased face-to-face communication skills, and the convince inauthentic in expression of feelings.
Okay, so now with us we have Ethan right here that is going to share a little bit about what he found out about Apple. So can you please tell us about the history of Apple?
Okay, well, Apple is like the company that basically is draining us of our ability to talk to people in person. Even right now, I'm talking to you in person, but we've both got Apples right in front of us.
I know, we're hypocrites.
It's kind of crazy we're filming this on an Apple. But Apple was established in 1976 with Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne, who you might not have heard of. And we all know the story. They started in a garage making computer kits and motherboards. They grew rapidly. They averaged about a 533% growth rate every year in the first couple of years. And they started out as a computer company, as you see, known as Apple Computers Inc. And over the years, the company expanded to new markets, quickly dominating the portable music industry with their unique ad campaigns for the iPod. I'm sure you had one. I had one.
Yep,
I had
I
like
still
5.
have one.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
Out of the iPod came the iPhone, the iPad, a larger version of the iPhone, basically. And because of this expansion, they switched their name to Apple Inc.
What is Apple's organizational structure?
Yeah, for an organization to be successful, it needs a strong organizational structure. In Apple's case, the organizational structure is mainly machinistic structure, stable environment, centralization, no differentiations of task and standardization and formalization. The success of the company is linked to innovation and the leadership of Steve Jobs, but its organizational structure is partly responsible for ensuring support for such leadership.
Okay, so Sergio, what is Apple's current state of business and how has it grown over recent years?
Well, after a bumpy start to 2014, Apple stock finished up 40% from last year, adding nearly $200 billion to the company's market value. Some key financials within the last year's books is that there was a 7% increase in revenue and 6% in profit. And overall, Apple's market value seems to add up to $702 billion. Some things that led to the 40% increase is Apple's innovation and upgrading of previous items, such as Apple Pay and Apple Watch, and as CEO Tim Cook recently told investors, it's tough to find something in the numbers not to like.
Right.
Unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I know Apple is always constantly coming up with new things on just to make our lives easier, make us less hardworking.
Yes.
Yes, so that's interesting. So we, Team Name, hope you found this informative, and we hope you become aware about just how much time you are spending on social networks. We are pleased to inform you that we have found a solution to this antisocial behavior. You can get the best of both worlds with this app. So Tyler, can you tell us more about this app?
There are two types of interaction, virtual and physical interaction. Apple has revolutionized the virtual aspect of communication with their iPhone, and the abundance of apps available on the App Store. These methods of communication are much easier than physical interaction, which is why they're more widely used among this digital native generation. The problem arises when virtual interaction cuts into our physical communication and takes priority. The solution we propose is a semi-physical app where you can network but it requires some physical interaction first. The first of many apps to come is our current app called Ish. With Ish, you can get people with the same app to take pictures of you instead of you taking a selfie.
Oh,
I know, right? Who really has time?
yeah.
I
They do have
know.
time to get a
Selfies are
GoPro.
so overdone. They're so
played out.
boring.
When they take the picture with their phone, it's sent to your phone for you to keep. The advantage of this app is the ability to break the ice with someone effortlessly, and from there you can start a conversation. Like, hello, how are you?
True.
Yeah.
I like it. It's semi-physical, so it's a virtual networking app,
Yes.
but it requires some physical interaction
No,
first.
it's just a great idea.
I can't think of
Right.
anyone
So
else
innovative.
doing that already.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Well, thank you for that, and that is it for today.
All right, why don't you tell me a little bit about how this app is revolutionary?
Well, the app is revolutionary by we bring to the table a physical and virtual aspect. So say physical is we're just communicating face to face right here. Virtual is through the internet and like texting, social media, all that stuff. So our app wants to bring to the table, which is a revolutionary thing, combining both. And we want to join with Apple to do that. So. We don't want to change the organizational structure of Apple or the finances. We just want to cultivate a physical aspect to their app store. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like an app that's physical interaction and then also virtual interaction
Yes.
after the initial physical
Yes.
interaction.
Something never before seen.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Show you right. And I'm show you niggas how to be players. Don't just be sitting in front of the liquor store talking shit. Always trying to do something, man. I roll, nothing else but them head cracks. Stepping over them crack valves. Bass heads like X-Files. Slept there, nightmares. Spit that like Dream World. No frills, ties pill. Swerve out, your drink spill. My drink on, I'm on something. You want nothing, I'm on too. Something else, not petty wealth. Gonna go to man optimals. I mean whatever I say. Mean like whatever she say. Ain't none colder than fakes.